Moves with Myth 2.0, the podcast. And always remember, gentlemen, it's a motherfucking movie. So guys, today we're here to bring awareness to men in Western society. You know, there's so many distractions. There's so many distractions. If you guys want me to get into something that's off topic from what the topic of the video is, that's what the super chat is for. So if you guys want me to discuss anything else, hit that super chat. But shout out to everybody, everybody who been rocking with me. As you guys see, I'm getting old, I'm getting old. A lot of you guys probably be a lot younger than me. You're getting old, it's inevitable. I remember when, I was 20 years old. I remember back in high school. And when I tell you that time flies, time flies. And that's what we're gonna get into this video about. About modern men ending up 40 years old without even $1,000 in their bank account. This is becoming more and more of a reality for a lot of guys. But first of all, there's too many distractions for modern men out here. Too many distractions where at one point, you're on the straight and narrow. You know what you gotta do, but then there's so many obstacles that comes into your path that doesn't necessarily is something that's good for you. And one of those things is modern women. We live in a time where modern women, for their entertainment, a lot of times modern women could get with a guy, drop that guy, and get with another dude like this. A lot of us have been with chicks for years, especially when you get into my age, in your late 30s, early 40s. You get with a woman, you be like, oh my God, she just swept me off my feet. This is the one. And 9 times out of 10, like, no matter what, if it drop you, take years from your life. Take your youth from you. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you look at me, you can tell that the youth, you're not seeing the youth in my face no more. You're kind of seeing the wear and tear of stress, life, after you have so many kids, you start getting older, you wake up early in the morning to go to work, you go get a coffee, you go get a coffee. This is what I look like, And what happens is a lot of guys out here, just turning the hamster wheel, with their finances. Because I heard a guy who's older than me say, you don't want to be 40 years old and you ain't got $1,000 in the bank. There's so many things out here for modern men to do you know, besides just hanging out in your neighborhood and not able to get to Japan. You know, I know a lot of people might not think like that. A lot of people might not think like that, you know. They might not be thinking of leaving the country. You know, going to, you know, you can't even without $1,000. A lot of us ain't even got enough money to go to Africa, go to Switzerland, to go to Germany, and not even that. That's on a larger scale. But a lot of us don't even have enough money to live as older men. And this is the world where we live in, guys. We live in a world where modern women is at a point where they just extract resources from you. Countless numbers of women, every relationship you get in, you know, this is the sole reason why, guys. The sole reason why that you should focus on your health. I'm #1 prospect on health, guys. I'm a guy who didn't hit the gym. You know, I work a lot. You know, I work a lot and stuff like that. I eat a lot, but I'm a type of guy who I didn't prioritize going to the gym. I didn't prioritize, and I'm 35. You know what I'm saying? I didn't prioritize eating healthy. You know, if I want to eat steak every day and I got money, I'm going to eat steak every day. And guys, once you get older, a lot of dudes be out here feeling like they can flip an 18-wheeler over. You know, I used to feel like that. I used to feel like I could conquer anything. But let me tell you something. Your body, your body is the only thing when you get older, you know, it's gonna start breaking down. You know, you're gonna wake up in the morning, you be like, oh my God, I'm getting old. You know what I'm saying? I'm getting old. And now, when you was in your 20s, when you was fresh out of high school, this is the exact instance of where I failed. You know, where a lot of us are failing. When we have all this energy, like, look at me, guys. A lot of you been with me for a long time. A lot of you guys been with me for a long time. I am getting old. You know, I am getting old. I am not your young buck anymore. You know, and what happens is, what we do is, you know, in our 20s, when we should be getting a career going, stacking up money, investing in stocks, getting our credit right, you know, we end up using that time to party, date different women. And all the women that I dated in my 20s, I'm not with today. You know, there's only one chick that I'm still with in my 20s, and I end up marrying her. She's running me and she's running me crazy. I'm just telling you, you know, this is what I'm telling guys, bro. Man, life is not a game. It's very difficult. You know, you're only gonna be young for, you know, you're only gonna be young for only a certain amount of time, bro. You know, and then next thing you know, you're 50. You know, guys, you want to be 50 years old and in a home, or you have then worked so much and put so much money away that your stocks and your assets are working for you. You know, when I look at old people, when I look at successful old people, we look at the old people they own a big house right there. They probably been married for a while, or you might see the single old person. I think of the tortoise and the hare. I think of a young man. Who will represent a rabbit who's fast, energized, ready to take life on, feeling like nobody in their right mind could beat them. And then I think about the tortoise, the older guy. The guy who has to outthink everybody else. And sometimes there's nothing wrong with getting in that position where you're older and you have to outthink everybody else. That's why a lot of us, including myself, we get to the point where we get older and we get more wiser with the things that we're doing. We get wiser with our finances, and stuff like that. And then things start to fall into place, But the prime of this video, guys, is that you do not want to get old, 40 years old. A lot of modern men are becoming 40 years old, homeless. Don't have a car, don't have a home, don't have any money in the bank, can't take care of a family, can't do what they want to do what they need to do. And it's sad, bro. It's sad. And life is equipped to devour you. So guys, make sure you guys like, share, subscribe, and let me know what you guys think of the video. And I'm gonna holler at you guys on the next one. Over and out.